Haven't found a book yet to help you get to that game-changing aha moment? Well, we have the book for you. Tighten the Lug Nuts, The Principles of Balanced Leadership. Tighten the Lug Nuts will help you get to that game-changing leadership moment. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and iBooks, or at 360managementservices.com. That's the number 360managementservices.com. Pick up your copy today and start changing your leadership styles.
Now it's time for the show.
Do this look like work to you? Nah. Looking at the lights like it's all of this for me. Everyone tonight is here. All of this for me. Hands in the air, yeah. All of this for me. Bottles over here. All of this for me. All of this for me. All of this for me. Light flash, light flash. All of this for me. All of this for me. All of this for me. Bottles bringing bottles here. All of this for me. You for real?
Hello, and welcome in to another edition of The Rome Show. It's March 2nd, 2020. It's 7:02 here at Hamilton Radio. I am Andrew Romanella. That is Rocky Romanella.
What's up, Andrew?
How you doing, man? We are going to bring you all the way up until the 8 o'clock hour. Remember, you can get in on The Rome Show action the entire night. 609-807-2492. The phone lines will be open. Our producer, Ruben, is back there ready to field your calls. You can also tune in on Facebook, facebook.com/The Rome Show 1. Write in on the comments section. You can get me on the Instagram, Coach Romo24. And as we were informed before the show got started today, Hamilton Radio, the new Hamilton Radio app, is now available for you on any platform. Got an iPhone, got an Android, Google Play, Apple apps, whatever it is. Download Hamilton Radio 4.0. It's the brand new Hamilton Radio app, and you can tune into the Rome Show there as well. And of course, always HamiltonRadio.net channel 2. Before we get started, Rube, can you pop our headphones back on?
I can get Hamilton Radio in the App Store.
Oh,
Can
so
I?
that's what we're talking about.
Is that, yeah?
Yeah. Hey, Rube, can we get the headphones back on?
I have no snare in my
I
headphones.
got it. Yeah, wait.
Oh, I'm
there-
hearing it.
The snare. A little bit louder, please.
A little bit louder now. A little bit louder now. Hey, hey.
Oh. Well, that's a great way to start off this show here on March 2nd. We're going to start the show a little bit differently tonight, okay? Because usually
Usually.
we start the show with a straight off the Rome.
Yes.
But for those of you that don't know, March 2nd, okay, is the day with which the one Dr. Seuss was born. So the Rome Show, because today is National Read Across America Day, as we were informed by our sister G. Marie, National Read Across America Day happens on Dr. Seuss's birthday to encourage kids to pick up a book and read. So every kid in every school across the United States of America that participated in Read Across America spent 15 minutes today reading anything. It could have been a book, it could have been an article, it could have been a blog post, but they spent 15 minutes reading. And when you think about a man like Dr. Seuss, and I'm sure nobody knows this, Dr. Seuss's real name
Real name, not doctor.
is Theodore Seuss Geisel.
Gotta love it.
I see why he changed his name to Doctor.
Teddy Seuss.
Teddy Seuss Geisel, a.k.a. Dr. Seuss, was born, Rocky, on in what year, March 2nd?
1904.
Wow, that's exceptional.
That's a layup.
How old would he be?
116 years old.
That's Dr.
Hashtag
Theodore
math.
Seuss Geisel. Happy birthday. I think, in my opinion, when you think about children's literature, I don't know many people, if any, that don't think about Dr. Seuss first.
Nah, Dr. Seuss is the best. He's the most iconic poet in the history of poems.
Do you have a favorite Dr. Seuss?
Green Eggs and Ham. Sam, I am.
Really?
Yeah.
Straight up, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, also, I'm obviously a big fan of The Grinch.
Yeah, I think The Grinch is mine.
I mean, Horton Hears a Who is pretty fun.
It is. You're right.
But, I mean, Green Eggs and Ham, for sure.
So this whole read across America, and I'm participating this week as well on behalf of Fairleigh Dickinson, and a one Theodore Seuss Geisel's birthday. Okay, I thought I'd come up with some Dr. Seuss trivia for you, because I want to see how much you don't know about Dr. Seuss.
Like where he got his PhD from?
Where, yeah, like what school? What school did Dr. Seuss graduate from to become a doctor? I don't know. I don't even know if he's a real doctor. I think he's a self-proclaimed doctor. Personally,
Nah, he's definitely a real doctor.
it's like a different version of WebMD.
Do you think that he could cure the coronavirus if he was still around?
That's just funny because people are so nervous about that.
Yeah, I know. It's serious talk.
All right. So Dr. Seuss trivia. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I'm so pumped about this. Might be one of my favorite trivia segments we've done this
No,
far.
this is exciting.
Okay. What college did Theodore Seuss Geisel attend?
Do I get clues?
I think
Can I
you
ask
should,
a clue?
You should try and guess. No?
Can I just ask where he's from?
I don't know exactly where he's from, truthfully. Oh, well, yeah, he's from Massachusetts.
Okay, so then
Springfield, to be precise.
small school or big school?
Well-known school.
Well known
I'd constitute it as big.
as big. So he's from Springfield, Mass.
Would you like the country of origin?
No, he went to
want me to use it
Boston
in a sentence?
University.
False.
Close?
Or X. What would I say there?
Was that close? Was that close?
You're not close, no.
Is it in Massachusetts?
Yes.
Harvard,
Closer.
Boston College,
Not. How does Harvard get you closer?
MIT.
Not farther, but closer, if that makes sense.
Um,
Tell me when you give up.
Northeastern.
No.
Damn.
Dartmouth.
Dartmouth isn't in Massachusetts.
Where is it?
It's New Hampshire.
Oh, well, there you go. That's why you weren't going to get it right.
But it is an Ivy League school.
Is it really in New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Really? I don't. If you could have asked me that 10 times over, I would have never guessed.
I'm gonna fact check myself, but
Please
been to
fact check
I've been
yourself.
to Dartmouth. It's in New Hampshire.
So if you've
There's
been
a great
there,
pizza place in that town.
if you've been
actually.
there, how do you not know it's in New Hampshire?
No, I do. I'm just saying, Dartmouth College.
Where is it? Nashua, New Hampshire.
No, it's
That's
in
the
Hanover.
It's the only place I know.
No, we used to stop in Hanover on our way down south when I was coaching at St. Mike's.
Well, there you go.
And there's a great pizza joint that we used to get chicken parm sandwiches and spaghetti and meatballs from.
All right, so it was Dartmouth where Dr. Seuss went to college. Moving on. What was the first book that Dr. Seuss published?
The first book?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't The Grinch.
It was not The Grinch.
It wasn't Horton Hears a Who.
It was definitely not Horton Hears a Who.
It could be Green Eggs and Ham, but it's not.
It's not.
And that's about
The only three you
that's
really
about,
know?
That's about where I'm at.
I don't even have any clues for you on this one, so I'm just
Yeah.
going to tell you.
That's okay.
And to think I saw it on Mulberry Street.
Oh, that's classic.
You've heard of it.
Yeah, Mulberry
You just
Street.
didn't know it was his first book,
Yeah, no, yes.
right? Correct.
True.
Okay, let's keep going. Wait, I already asked you this one. All right, this is a true or false question.
True or false?
When Dr. Seuss wrote And to Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street, the book was rejected 27 times before it was actually published. True or false?
True. I know that for a fact.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah, I actually know that. Now that you
Why do you know that?
because maybe because when I was I was walking around Hanover. So you know when like something is told to you and it triggers like a distant memory.
Yes.
Right. Well, Dartmouth College just triggered a distant memory that I've never thought about. But
Until right now.
Yeah, I've had two different occasions where I've walked the streets of Hanover, and in downtown Hanover in Dartmouth College, there's a little bookstore, and I remember walking through it. I don't know if I saw it there, but I do know in a time of motivational presence where I needed to like get people excited or talk about resilience.
You read some Dr. Seuss?
It was a Dr. Seuss story about how he was rejected by the publishers that
Wow.
many times, and it took just took one.
And then now look at this.
And is it true that he wrote under a pseudonym, or did he get it published as Dr. Seuss?
He got it published as Dr.
Okay,
Seuss.
nice.
Yeah, it was published as Dr. Seuss.
Okay.
Do you know how many books Dr. Seuss wrote?
35,
More.
50,
Higher.
100,
Lower.
75,
Lower.
60.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Dr. Seuss wrote 60 books.
I wonder why 60.
I don't know. Maybe there's a reasoning behind it.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Maybe one for every year.
Do you know What book was the first movie that Dr. Seuss wrote? Which book transcribed to a movie first?
Cat in the Hat.
No.
Oh, I forgot.
Is that a movie?
Cat in the Hat is 100% a movie.
Is it?
Modern times. 2000. I'm gonna put Cat in the Hat with real life people at 2005.
Yeah, you're right. I do remember that being released.
And it's gonna take me a second. So it's not Cat in the Hat. It can't be Dr. Seuss. It can't be The Grinch. Is it?
It's The Grinch.
Really?
Do you want to know what year?
Jim Carrey?
Can you
Jim
guess?
Carrey's The Grinch, or
The
Oh
original.
no, the Grinch That Stole
original-
Christmas, the cartoon one.
Yes.
Hold on, no, I want to get at this.
Because that is an animated movie, therefore constitutes being transcribed into a movie.
I'm gonna say 1968.
Wow, you are really close.
Really?
Yeah, lower, but you are really close.
66?
Yeah. 1966, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch Who Stole Christmas was transcribed into an animated movie. And that was the first Dr. Seuss book that was turned into a movie. And that's not starting the Dr. Seuss trend, but man, he really, it popped off for him.
That is. No, it's a Christmas classic. You have to watch it every year when it's on TV.
What year was Mulberry Street written?
If it was his first, he was born in 1904. He had a tough start, so I'm going to say 1927.
Higher.
1933.
Higher.
1937.
Yes.
Wow.
You're
I'm getting pretty
yeah,
good.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
that's not that bad. Like
I think you learned more about Dr. Seuss in that book read than you
Yeah,
really
right?
you
Like,
realized you garnered.
I
that
think I had a
info.
limitless pill today.
That's fantastic. Okay, we got one more Dr. Seuss trivia right here. Okay, he passed away in what year, and how old was he? And this is gonna really at least it's gonna make me feel old. So I don't know what's gonna make you feel like.
So I don't think he lived till he was 100. So it won't be.
What would that would be? 2004.
That would be 2004. I want to say he died in our lifetime. So I'm gonna go with the 90s, and I'll stick to 1997,
Lower.
94,
Lower.
91.
Yes.
Ooh, so early 90s.
1991, September
Okay.
24th to be exact. How old was he?
So 91, that would make him 87.
There you go.
Yeah.
So Dr.
Math.
Seuss lived to be 87 years old, which for a guy that was born in 1904, I feel like that's an extremely long lifetime.
Listen, one of my favorite quotes from Grandma's Boy. I mean, you've seen some stuff. Like, you lived through, like, World War I, World War II, the automobile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, the Cat in the Hat movie, 2003.
Oh,
so
you were-
I was 05.
You
so.
have been on point,
Close.
though, with your date guesses tonight.
Listen, I'm a history major. I got a timeline in my head.
Real
So-
historian here on the Rome Show. If you got any Dr. Seuss factoids, some Theodore Seuss Geisel factoids that you want to call into the Rome Show, 609-807-2492. The originator of this conversation, one G. Marie Rinaldi and clan, are listening to the Rome Show
Yeah, I
tonight.
know. Shout out.
So, shout out to the Rinaldi clan. Nico's probably, and Aviana will probably understand hearing their voices. Aria, who knows? Before we move on from Dr. Seuss, I want to read this quote because I think this is such an awesome quote for what made Dr. Seuss who he was. And, you know, as honest as can possibly be about kids. Now, you're a father, so you could probably touch on this more than me, but he said this: I don't write for children. I write for people. Once a writer starts talking down to kids, he's lost. Kids can pick up on that kind of thing.
No,
End
I like,
quote.
Yeah, I like that. No,
Love
like,
that.
It actually echoes. You know who it echoes is Mr. Rogers.
It does echo Mr. Rogers.
So Mr. Rogers was big on. Mr. Rogers was directly speaking to children, but in a
Yes.
sense that it was about like helping them deal with being a kid. Whereas Dr. Seuss obviously this is just about being a person.
Yes.
So similar concepts.
But I like that. So, happy birthday, Theodore Seuss Geisel, a.k.a. Dr. Seuss. Happy 116th birthday. Thank you for the things that you've written, the books that you have
Nope.
given us. And the fact that I was only 1 year old when he passed and sitting here at 29 years old in my 30th year of living, saying to myself, this man still resides this much that the nation takes a Read Across America Day to celebrate his birthday. That's how you know you've had a positive impact on the community and the world. So Hats off to you, Mr. Seuss.
Hats off to the Cat in the Hat.
Hey, there it
There it
is.
is. There it is.
Yeah, bring it full circle. All right. Also, it's a lot of fun to quiz Rocky on children's literature.
Yeah, no doubt. I thought I held my own.
I listen. I would,
Better than expected for not even doing any research.
if you want to stay on the academia theme here, I'd give you an A minus.
Thank you.
I thought
Better
that was,
than the GPA I graduated with.
what does Dad call it? Some come lucky,
yeah.
summa cum lucky.
That's what I graduated. Summa cum lucky. That's his favorite joke.
That's his favorite joke of all time. Oh, man, if you know our father, he sticks to his jokes. The Rome Show here, March 2nd, 2020, Facebook.com/The Rome Show, HamiltonRadio.net channel 2, the new Hamilton Radio app 4.0. You can download it on any smartphone that you have. I heard even some dumb phones can download it, so that's super cool. And, of course, the phone lines, 609-807-2492. You're straight off the Rome today comes to you from the broadcast world. I don't know if you've heard this story yet, but one Tony Romo, okay? Tony Romo, yes, the same quarterback that played 14 years for the Dallas Cowboys, the same quarterback that in 2016 lost his job to a one Dak Prescott, and the same quarterback that went from starting for what people consider the nation's most known team.
Can I throw one in?
Go.
Also, the guy that fumbled a snap on an extra point in the playoffs.
I was trying to avoid that one.
I wasn't.
The guy that started for the nation's most known team, the Dallas Cowboys, made a seamless transition into the booth on Sunday Night Football. He's been the Sunday Night Football color commentator for the last 3 years. On that deal, he signed a 3-year deal worth $3 million, so $1 million a year. Well, Tony Romo's deal was up this year, and there were contract negotiations between him and NBC. Part of the negotiation was the fact that NBC was trying to pay Peyton Manning between $10 and $12 million per sources from the Post and Sports Illustrated to take that job that Tony Romo just held for 3 years.
NBC or CBS?
CBS.
Okay.
Sunday Night Football, right?
Nice.
Yeah, CBS. Excuse me. They go to contract negotiations with Peyton. Peyton takes too long. They decide they want to not reopen, but continue negotiations with Romo because they wanted to keep him. Here's what doesn't make any sense to me. You go to offer the job to Peyton Manning, and I would believe that's true since it's being reported by credible sources. And then you turn around and pay Tony Romo 10 years, $180 million? It's essentially $18 million a year.
Do you think that they were just leveraging the Peyton Manning talks to get Tony Romo to sign up?
Well, possibly, because part of it was the fact that ESPN was trying to steal Tony Romo from CBS.
Yeah, but ESPN wasn't going to let Tony Romo play golf on the tour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And which is why Tony Romo was stalling with saying yes to ESPN. Because I think they would have put him on Monday Night Football, and I feel like some people might want that more than they would want Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, no, I think or Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Sunday night's NBC, so he's not going on NBC.
Yes.
Thursday night is syndicated now with Fox.
Right.
So that was all Fox this year.
Yep.
So he's really on the CBS game of the week, whatever that game is.
I think it's usually the 425.
Well, no. Fox has the game of the week at 4:25 because it's usually.
So what's the CBS one?
It's just whatever the best game that CBS has because CBS has the AFC. So whatever the best game in the AFC is who Tony Romo is broadcasting.
So here's what blows my mind.
And it's typically a 4:00 game because they want to go up against the game of the week on Fox.
What broadcaster in your mind deserves that much money?
No, 0 people. Maybe Al Michaels.
Yeah, because of his history.
Yeah, maybe Al Michaels. Answer to the question.
I can't wrap my head around the fact that he's going to make he's going to make more money. There's a stat that came out today that he makes more money than every player in the NFL but 20.
No, it's ridiculous. Like the
Is
guy.
he that? Am I missing something?
No, absolutely not.
I feel like I'm missing something.
He's got great football knowledge. He sees the play. He obviously educates you because he literally tells you what's happening
Before it happens. Yeah.
which is cool, which is nice because obviously I can't read a defense, right? So it's nice to have that help as a fan. Is it worth $17 million a game? I don't think so.
I don't know.
I mean, think about it. He's going to do
What, 16
so
games?
He'll do 16 games.
Does he do
and-
the Super Bowl if CBS has it?
If the CBS has it, he'll do the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So he'll do an AFC wild card. He'll do the AFC divisional, and he'll do the AFC championship game.
So let's call it 19 games a year.
Yeah, and he'll probably do anywhere between 1 to 3 preseasons to get practice.
So essentially, he's making $950,000 a game.
Yeah, a lot. It's like a lot.
And what I don't want people to think, the Romo Sapiens out there, I don't want you to think that I'm a hater of Tony Romo as a broadcaster. I
like him
think he's
better
really good.
Well, he's better as a broadcaster than he was a player.
I mean, he was a pretty good player too. Take your Giants bias out of it.
Dude, he was a good player, but like, was he?
Yes, he was undrafted and then started 14 years in the league.
Who's got a better? Is Andy Dalton just as good as Tony Romo?
No,
Really? If Andy Dalton played in the Cowboys, he'd have the same stats as Tony Romo.
I don't believe that.
Why? That he went to the playoffs every year in his career.
And lost.
So did Tony Romo.
Well, that's true.
Tony Romo has people like Tony Romo. A, because he has more exposure because he's on the
A little
Cowboys.
bit more
But B,
bravado.
he has what? But
I just wanted to use that word.
I would
I'm
love
not
to
gonna
see.
lie.
I would love to see lifetime fantasy stats. Andy Dalton versus Tony Romo.
Do you want me to get their career stats up?
Maybe. I mean, Andy Dalton.
let's look.
Obviously, it might. I mean, maybe. I think I am stretching a bit. I will admit that.
But
Because
now
Tony, here's what I like about Tony Romo. And I promise you, I'll take my bias out for this.
please, that's all we ask.
All right. Here's 2 things I like about Tony Romo. He was incredible in a scramble.
Fair.
Incredible in a scramble, and he had a confidence to his game when he was in it. So like, I remember we gave Tony Romo like a minute and 45 seconds to win a ball game. And I remember showing him they showed him on the sidelines, and he had this face. They like looked at him, and he's like, "We got enough time. We got this." And so like he's got that with him, which I liked. But
All right, we have the career stats up.
yeah,
Who do you want first?
I want Romo first.
Okay, Tony Romo, 156 career games, a 78-49 career record, 65.3% completion percentage, 34,183 yards,
It's a lot.
248 touchdowns to 117 interceptions.
Okay, so that's good.
That's great.
It's a good stat line.
That's a good stat line.
I know.
Way more TDs to interceptions.
Yeah, no,
Which I don't think you would have assumed. I wouldn't have assumed that.
No.
I would have thought he'd had more
No,
interceptions.
he's always had he always had a good receiving core, and he
All
always
right.
had Jason Witten.
All right, here we go. Andy Dalton, 133 games played,
Oh, okay.
a 70, 61, and 2
Wow.
career record,
All right, still winning though.
62% completion,
Not that far off.
31,594 yards, 204 touchdowns to 118 interceptions.
So again, like I would argue that's the difference between playing for the Bengals and playing for the Cowboys.
Those stats.
Yes, because they're not that much different.
Well, there's also 6 years added on. So actually, if you looked at the trend, now it all depends on what happens with Andy Dalton this year. But if you look at the trend is that he'll have better stats at the end of his career than Tony Romo has.
Yeah, and he'll have played. How many years has Andy Dalton played?
I believe it's 9 seasons.
Tony Romo played 14.
Yeah, he's played 9, so it's 5 more years.
And
But
he's only 3,000 yards behind him.
does Andy Dalton ever start again?
Nah, I don't think. I think he's done. But I'm just saying, like, you're like, oh, you're biased, and like, listen, I
I
just
didn't
think
say you were biased. I'm just
saying
saying,
Tony Romo gets a lot of praise
right.
for not doing really that much when you look at the grand scheme of things.
You're right. I agree with you 1,000%. Now, let me ask you this, though, because people make the same argument about Eli Manning if you remove the 2 Super Bowls.
Well, you can't though.
I know. I agree with that.
So if you want to go, how about you go to Phillip Rivers?
That's a great comparison.
So Phillip Rivers, you could argue Phillip Rivers has a better career than Tony Romo,
I would say it off the eye test that Phillip Rivers has a better career than Tony Romo.
right?
He probably has way more picks
But you'll never see Phillip Rivers in a booth,
ever.
and you'll never see him with the notoriety that Tony Romo has.
No, not at all. But again, and this goes to your original point, that's probably because Phillip Rivers played for the San Diego Chargers for his whole career.
Listen, that's what they say. I mean, think about it. Who you're drafted to matters.
But if that's the case,
Tom Brady is Tom Brady or Tom Brady not Tom Brady?
what true? But like, if that's the case, then why don't people still want to like come play for the Knicks? Why was it so hard for so long to get the Clippers, because they had Los Angeles attached to them, people to go play out in LA for the Clippers? Why do big city franchises then find all these situations to struggle? Why is it so hard for the Giants right now?
The Giants, because the Giants lost the Giant way when Odell Beckham came.
That's fair, but if we're talking about notoriety,
Odell
isn't that
Beckham
ultimately
actually
what players
belonged
want?
on the Cowboys.
Yes,
Odell Beckham,
based off history.
Odell Beckham would still be a Cowboy today if he was on the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's another coming of Michael Irving.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, so he just didn't fit. That's why the Giants lost their way because of Odell. There's no other reason.
Yeah, when they lost Coughlin, their way went.
And Coughlin wasn't able to control him.
You're right.
So that's where it all went downhill. But again, like, you don't want to play for the – listen, the appeal about the Cowboys is that Jerry Jones always has the players back.
Yes, that's very true.
Players want to be supported
Until
by
he has
their
to pay 'em.
ownership. That's right. But at least he's not upfront about it.
That's true.
You know what you're going to get from that guy. You know what you're going to get with the Cowboys, right? And by the way, like, most of the guys during the Tony Romo era, the guys that played for the Cowboys were growing up in the 90s when the Cowboys were Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith.
When the Cowboys
Were the
became
Cowboys.
the Cowboys.
Exactly. So, again, I would want to play for them too if I was those guys.
Off the top of your head, is there a guy that you currently watch? And this can be any sport. Okay, so because this whole conversation started with Tony Romo getting paid the loot. Give me the loot to stand in the broadcast booth, right? In any sport, is there a guy right now that you want to see in the booth when they're done with their career? Because I have one, and it actually happened today.
Football?
No, baseball.
In baseball, you're saying, do I have to choose baseball? I could choose
No, you can
any
choose
sport.
any sport, a player that you want to see in the booth when they retire.
Wow. I don't even know. Can you start with yours?
Yeah,
Because
and it happened today. So, and this is not because it happened today. This is always somebody I wanted to see in the booth, but Chipper Jones.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And Chipper Jones just signed a deal with ESPN to become a baseball analyst on ESPN. I believe that is the steps for them to make Chipper Jones what was Jessica Mendoza role on Baseball Night in America, or whatever the hell they call it on ESPN. I've always loved watching Chipper Jones videos, okay? I've loved watching him talk hitting. I love the way he breaks down the game. I was always excited to see what he did post-career, and I was always hoping being in the booth would be it. I got one more for you.
Chipper Jones is a good one.
You're going to like this one. And you referenced this guy last week when we broke down the NL Central.
Nice.
Joey Votto.
Oh, Joey Votto, okay.
Joey Votto. And for those of you that aren't a baseball junkie like me or coach it and try and relate to their players with players in Major League Baseball, Joey Votto is like my primetime guy. When he talks hitting, when he talks at spring training, when there's a video out about him and different things that he's doing, he's a primetime guy that I show my players, and he's going to be fantastic if he chooses a career in broadcasting when he's done.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one. And by the way, on Chipper Jones, Joey Votto is a great one. It's guys that are good at fundamentals, right? So, like, if you're going to talk hockey, it's probably not your goal scorer that I want to hear from.
Yeah, you're not getting Alex Ovechkin in the booth.
No, but I could see. I'd like to listen to what Crosby has to say about the game.
Two-way player
from overall, right? But on Chipper, I'd like to see Chipper.
Right?
Chipper's the one guy. Like, if I had the time, I would love to spend. I believe that if the New York Mets don't build Citi Field, Chipper Jones plays another like 2 to 3 years in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, because anytime he needed to get out of a slump, he'd just play the Mets at Shea.
And he'd crush us.
Chipper Jones named his child Shea.
I know. That's why. If the Mets didn't get rid of Shea, Chipper might still be playing.
He might still be playing. I mean, he was a Hall of Famer probably because of it. Let's do this. It's 7:30. You know it's break time. We got to hear from Titan the Lugnuts. Romo Sapiens out there. 609-807-2492. Facebook.com/The Rome Show / Andrew Romanella. Any way you want to get on. I want to know your athlete, your professional athlete that you like to watch play, that you eventually want to see end up in the broadcast booth, just like a one Tony Romo did. This is The Rome Show. I'm Andrew Romanella. That's Rocky Romanella. We will be back after we pay some bills on this quick break. Are you looking to become a better leader, whether that's in business, in sports, or in life? and you haven't found a book yet to help you get to that game-changing aha moment, well, we have the book for you. Tighten the Lug Nuts, The Principles of Balanced Leadership. Tighten the Lug Nuts will help you get to that game-changing leadership moment. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and iBooks, or at 360managementservices.com. That's the number 360managementservices.com. Pick up your copy today and start changing your leadership styles. Rome Show here
We're
on
back.
HamiltonRadio.net, Channel 2, Facebook.com/The Rome Show 1, the new Hamilton Radio app 4.0. I am Andrew Romanella. That is Rocky Romanella. We are The Rome Show. It's March 2nd, 2020. We are taking you all the way up until the 8 o'clock hour. If you're just joining us, happy freaking birthday, Dr. Seuss. Happy
birthday,
freaking
Dr.
birthday.
Seuss. We love you.
We appreciate you. We appreciate Cat in the Hat. We appreciate Read Across America. What a great day to be in the studio celebrating a one Mr. Seuss. We are yucking it up about everything. Tony Romo's new contract. What athlete you want to see in the broadcast booth when they are done. You know, one that I was really thinking about, you know, during that really long break that we take in the midpoint of the show was I would really like to hear Abby Wambach in the broadcast booth when the next World Cup comes around.
Yeah, Abby Wambach would be good.
I think she would be such a good one to have in the booth because when the women's team won the first World Cup that Wambach was on, what was that, 2016?
No, the one that we all love.
Yeah,
know and love.
2016,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
right? The one before she retired?
Yep. Yep.
When she spoke after that World Cup, I felt like every time she spoke, I wanted to listen. And so
Okay.
to add to that conversation before we move past it, she is somebody that I want to see in the broadcast booth when the career comes, when the time comes, or if it happens. Because Julie Foudy's in the booth, and she's great.
Foudy does a good job.
She does a really good
Yeah,
job.
Yeah, I like her.
But, like, you know how you talked about Sidney Crosby? That's what made me think about it. Like, Wambach is one of those players, like, she was also the best player on the team, goal scorer on the team.
Yeah.
But she knows the game so well from every angle that she could explain it to you that way, not just from the goal scorer, best offensive player standpoint.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I like that one.
Would a goalie be able to be a good broadcaster?
Goalie, but I mean, a goal
Because they see the game.
I mean, in hockey, goalies are some of the best. Kind of like how catchers always make
I
good
was
managers.
just thinking that.
Right, because you have to know the game. I mean, goalies, maybe a little bit different. Like the goalies, actually, there's a lot of goalies that do like the home broadcast. Like the Rangers have both Kevin Weeks and they've got Steve Valiquette, both former Ranger goaltenders in their broadcast arena. Like they do the pregame and the postgame.
Well, and for the Devils, they do Ken Danico, and I like that because I think the defenseman
Danico does a
perspective,
good job.
He does a really good
Yeah,
job.
you have to be a smart player. Like it would be good to hear from Peyton. Like if
Oh.
you watch a Peyton's detail,
Oh,
like
so
the
good.
Peyton detail is really good.
When I took your ESPN Plus password, I love watching the Peyton
yeah,
detail.
Peyton's a good one.
We remind you, 609-807-2492 if you want to get in on the conversation. Okay, we just talked a little bit about some baseball players we want to see in the booth.
Yes.
You know the show ain't going to go really long without me trying to get to the baseball portion of it.
Let's get to it.
Okay. We have two things that we wanted to break down coming into today. Okay, so I'm going to leave it on the table for you.
Okay.
We want to either discuss the New York Yankees first,
Yeah.
okay, or break down the NL West.
Start with the Yankees.
Okay, and I got a really good Romalytics.
I want to get over with it.
I got a really good Romalytics coming up for you later, but I would like to do the baseball first.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we'll go with the Yankees. Okay, for those of you, I don't know that necessarily follow spring training or really locked in on what's going on with these teams as they go through their 4-week spring training, either in Arizona or Florida. One thing that's going to be going on with the New York Yankees is injuries. Big time injuries. We're talking Luis Severino, Tommy John, out for the next year and a half.
Done.
We're talking Giancarlo Stanton, grade 1 calf strain, probably not going to be ready for opening day. Only played 20 games last year. We're talking Aaron Judge, shoulder, not positive he's going to be ready for opening day, hasn't even started throwing a baseball yet. James Paxton, huge starter for you, supposed to be big in that rotation with Garrett Cole, hurt. Aaron Hicks, out for still another half of a year because of the Tommy John surgery that he's returning from. So to put it all into perspective, for the peoples out there that might not have a full lockdown on the Yankees depth chart, okay? Their starting outfield went from a potential of Clint Frazier, who's a up-and-coming prospect, had to deal with some concussion issues in the last few years. Aaron Judge, perennial All-Star, and Giancarlo Stanton. I almost called him Mike like when his career started. Giancarlo Stanton, who as we all know, is the 2018 NL MVP. That was your starting outfield. Now
That's pretty good. It's a pretty good group of guys.
you got Clint Frazier, Brett Gardner, who's 37 years
Gotta
old.
love Brett Gardner.
You do, and Mike Talkman.
I don't know who that is. But that's the point.
You couldn't have given. Yeah, it is the point.
That's
You're
the
right. that was. You couldn't have had a better. You couldn't have planned a better response to that. Mike Talkman was called up last year because of the Giancarlo injury and because of the Aaron Judge injury. Mike Talkman had a really good first year in the league, but now you're relying on him, Brett Gardner, and Clint Frazier to get you through the first part of your schedule. You can't afford, in baseball in general, but in the AL East, which is every single year a division that's going to be fought for hard until the end. You can't afford to be giving up games in late March and April. And right now, the Yankees, and that doesn't even include losing Sevy. That doesn't include what Paxton's going to be. Masahiro Tanaka is one bad pitch away from that partially torn UCL, which he's done a great job the last 5 years of managing, but he's getting older. And yeah, you signed Garrett Cole. But now all of a sudden, things do not look as bright for the New York Yankees. And I'm starting to wonder if they start to lose some of that, hey, they're definitely going to be a World Series contender. Because I think there's going to be some proving that has to go on from players that were not coming into this year expecting to have to prove.
Yeah, they're no longer a World Series contender. That's just what happens, right? You lost. First of all, you lost two dudes in a starting rotation of 5 dudes.
Yeah.
So
and
you-
2 dudes that were going to be your top 3
And
arms.
and by the way, you're sitting there saying, like, if I've got a good 3, I need 2 serviceable and I can get it through. Right? That's what you say about your starting rotation. Yeah, you want 5 all-stars, but you typically have 1, 2, and if you're lucky, you have 3, which they had, and now they don't. So even without the Aaron Judge injury, even without Aaron Hick, or even without Giancarlo Stanton, right, they lose the World Series contender tag.
So let me ask you this question. Can you start being concerned about Aaron Judge and Luis Severino
Yes.
as a Yankees fan? As
Yeah.
injury-prone
They've
players?
never played a full season.
And Aaron Judge has 1, I believe.
You
1.
think?
Yeah, I mean, he was an all-star.
That doesn't mean he played the full
Well,
season.
yeah, but I mean, what are we constituting as full season? Because I constitute 145.
Well,
No, who plays 162 games anymore?
that's right. We're soft. It's crazy, though. We've got more pitch counts. We've got more game management counts. We sit guys out more than ever before, and you're 3 weeks into spring training, and your entire team is depleted
I know,
due
think
to
about that.
injury.
Think about that.
What did you do?
All off-season. I
Like,
know.
What did you do? Did we not reevaluate these guys before we let them go? Like, they did fire their trainer.
Yeah,
I
they
know you're
did.
mad at me because you don't think that that's a factor, but obviously
I'm not
it must
saying it's
be.
not a factor. I just think it's funny that was the first thing you went to on the conversation.
I mean, who else's job is it to keep players healthy other than the athletic staff, the training staff?
the player themselves.
Okay, cool, but you're telling me that, like, you literally just had 10 dudes just get fat and lazy over the course of the last 3 months and then show up and try and throw 150 feet without stretching?
It's not about getting fat and lazy. It's about not doing the certain baseball activity you needed to do to be prepared to play.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, how is it possible?
I agree with. I
Like,
don't disagree
I don't
with
get
you.
it. Like, what are you doing?
All
Like, are you
off-season.
literally just eating Cheetos?
But
and,
that's
like,
what I'm
not
saying.
throwing
But that's what
baseball?
I'm talking about. The trainer.
Are you
Like,
playing just MLB 2020 and, like,
you're
instead
playing
of
yourself
throwing?
on MLB
Like,
2K.
I don't get. I mean, I guess.
So I got a funny story for you. Okay. So we had a slight issue with our pitching staff to start the year where we were not a huge fan of how many guys' arms were barking. Okay. We're 2 weeks in. We gave you a whole throwing plan for the offseason plus an arm care program. And you're going to come here and you're going to tell us that after 3 bullpens and 1 live session, which means throwing to hitters, your arm's going to hurt. So we got in our guys a little bit about doing their throwing program. This whole thing comes out about Severino. right? Then it comes out about Aaron Judge's shoulder. One of the players comes up to me at practice. He goes, "Coach, can you believe it?" I said, "What?" They're like, "Sevy didn't do his off-season throwing program.
Yeah, it's true.
Aaron Judge didn't do his off-season. You think they're gonna? What do you think they're gonna do?" I was like, "It's probably a little bit different for them than you guys, but that's an exceptional point, and that might be as simply all that it is."
I mean, it's hard for me to believe. Like the Luis Severino one, I think is incredible to me because you actually knew he was injured in October, right? So the fact that
So what are we doing?
So the fact that you wouldn't invest in figuring out what was actually wrong with him and you wait until he's back with your staff in February is, I think that's an organizational blunder.
Agreed.
Right? Because with Tommy John, I mean, you literally lost. He won't be ready for the start of next year. He will be ready for May of next year.
Well, he's now Aaron Hicks this year,
Yeah,
where Aaron
so-
Hicks was out all of last year
So
and
that's what I'm
half this
saying.
year.
Whereas if you catch it in October and he has Tommy John surgery before Thanksgiving, now you're eyeing a 2021
Start of the
start.
season.
He's
Yeah.
going to play the beginning of 2021. He'll be at spring training. He'll be back. No big deal, right? And everyone's cool with it, right? But the fact that you find it out in week 1 of spring training that he needs Tommy John, well, now you're like, dude, that's why people are pissed,
Which is probably why their trainer got fired.
no doubt.
Because that's probably where it comes into play. That's your job,
And you're
dude.
just like, come on. Like, I don't, it's so sad. Like,
Do you still think they win the AL East? Now, I know that's a hard prediction to make with a 162 game schedule and everything.
I mean,
but
it's going to depend. I mean, they could. Listen, if the Yankees, if Aaron Boone does a good job, he maintains 500 until he gets a couple guys back. Right? It's like one at a time. It's like, all right, can I stay 500 until
May
May
1st.
Until May. Can I get 5-10 games over 500 by 4th of July? And then,
Roll.
am I contending at the All-Star break? And
Yeah,
if I
because
am, then I'm okay.
And they did that last year.
Yeah.
They stayed afloat, and then they took off.
Yes.
It's just hard to sustain that 2 years
But when
in a
4th
row.
of July comes and they're at 500, I don't know if you see them take off.
So how about this nugget?
Well, they probably will be at 500 at 4th of July.
There was some literature that I read on National Read Across America Day
Outstanding.
on MLBTradeRumors.com that the Yankees called the Mets after the Sevy injury on the potential trade for Steven Matz.
I mean, I don't know. I don't like it for the Mets at all.
I hate it for the Mets.
For the Mets, it makes absolutely zero sense, right? Unless you get a stud 7th inning guy in return, right? You don't need a position player, unless right. Like there's no one that the Yankees are going to offer up that's good enough to get.
DJ LeMahieu.
But you know what?
They're not going to offer him, but I'm
But
just
DJ
saying I'd
LeMahieu's
take
been
him.
getting traded to the Mets for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and they could have signed him as a free agent. That's a whole other conversation.
And
But
if,
if you're
the Mets
asking
and if the
me-
Mets were smart, they would have not let what's his face go to the Phillies, and we would have sent him to the Yankees.
Zach
DJ
Wheeler.
Yeah, we
But
would have let. Yeah,
Right. Now, if you're asking me, though, is it a non-negotiable trade? It's a negotiable trade.
listen, I'm not. It's not out of the question for me. But again, like it doesn't make the Mets rotation.
If you
better.
got, who would you get back?
the Mets rotation is solid right now.
No, I agree
You
with-
really can't mess with the rotation.
Yes, I agree. Like, if you're going to give up Steven Matz.
And Waka, listen, Mike Waka has had a couple good outings,
Yeah,
but he's not Steven Matz.
I understand that, but it's also spring training. I could care less. I was looking at Cactus League standings today. I'm like, why do they even do this?
I mean, because you got to see.
Yeah, but like, do you believe that the preseason in any sport actually gives you a realistic depiction of what the team that you're about to cheer on is going to be like?
No.
I couldn't agree with you more.
It's spring training preseason strictly about individual player development
Right.
and tinkering.
But let me ask, how much stock do you then put on the individual performance? Because you just said to me, Michael Wacha had a few good outings already.
From a pitching standpoint, it tells you a lot.
Okay.
Like
Probably.
think about it because in Major League Baseball, if you get a pitcher whose first 2 starts are a little bit slow and then he gets into a rhythm, you're like, all right, he just needed a couple more weeks in spring training.
Right.
Right.
So you're saying
But-
if he looks good in spring training, that's those moments right there.
Yeah, he may or may not be more ready. Like he did a little bit more work to get ahead of where his progression should be.
If I had to rank the sports in terms of value to preseason to lack of value to preseason, what's my number one?
Hockey.
Oh my gosh, yes. You could watch a preseason hockey game and have no freaking clue whether it's game 80 or game 1 of the preseason.
No, because you are literally trying to make a team.
And there's no way to play hockey.
No, I would actually probably
can't.
say football is the only comparable when you look at individual players actually trying to make a squad.
Make a roster. Yes.
Right? Baseball is pretty much predetermined.
Yes.
No one's coming into spring training and like,
And
oh, we got to
stealing the
start that
job.
guy.
Like you're coming in knowing that like you're either fighting for a job,
Yeah.
you have a job, or you're not even going to be in the big
In
leagues.
football and hockey, you can earn a position.
Yes.
100% earn a position. Baseball, I think it's predetermined, and basketball like is a joke. I
So
mean,
that-
basketball doesn't go past 7 guys anyway.
And
so,
I was
like,
gonna
I
say
don't even
that-
know who the 15 are.
That was going to be number 4.
There's like this is
It's not even an
number
argument.
10.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say the MLS preseason is probably more important than
Dude,
WNBA.
like Major League Basketball. No. The NBA. I mean,
the
think about it.
XFL.
Think about it. If I'm the NBA, like I've got 6 dudes that I pay because like they know my offense and they can help practice.
Yeah, and then all the rest of but you're paying them league minimum.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would agree. Hockey, then football, then baseball.
Yeah, then basketball.
But none of them give you a reference point on how good your team's going to be, though.
no,
I really don't believe that.
no, I agree with that too.
Just because
Anything
you
could
can
happen.
make a roster, there's guys that aren't really going to be
Yeah.
first and second line guys, probably in those moments playing first and second line.
I think you've had like Super Bowl teams 0-4 in the preseason.
Yes, 100%.
you
And
know,
there's like
it's-
stats on that, too.
Yeah, it's-
Them being bad in the preseason. Okay, let's stick on the baseball front and move over to the NL West. All right, so obviously we've been previewing a baseball division every week now, and we're going to do it all the way leading up through the start of the season, the last weekend of March. We've hit the NL East already.
Yep.
That was 2 weeks ago. We've hit the NL West, Central.
Yep.
That was last week. And now, today, we are here to hit the NL West.
Very exciting.
Okay? You started last week. I'll start this week.
Let's hear it.
So, the NL West, I think, in my opinion, is the easiest division in baseball to pick. That is because the Dodgers exist.
No doubt.
Okay? The Dodgers with Mookie Betts, exists, which makes them a better ball club. Okay? That's just facts. Mookie Betts is top 5 in voting right now in terms of who believes the MVP is going to be at the end of the year. He's got some of the best odds in Vegas in terms of winning the MVP. I'm not saying that makes you an MVP or not, but he's in a contract year, and he's got something to prove being traded from Boston to LA. I think it's a runaway. I think the Dodgers run away. They win by 10-plus games over the next competitor, and that's their NL West title for what would be the 7th straight season. Coming in second place, I would give you the Arizona Diamondbacks. They signed a one Madison Bumgarner. What we get from Mad Bum, we do not know. But getting Mad Bum automatically boosts your staff. His experience, his knowledge, the way he can work with their young arms on that staff. Mike Leake is currently hurt. He should be a big-time starter for them. They traded Zach Greinke last year, so some depth concerns when we come to the pitching rotation. But Starling Marte is a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks now. They have some really good offensive players. I think they can compete. I predict Arizona as a wild card contender.
Interesting.
I've picked my 2 wild card contenders now to this point. One from the NL West and one from the NL East. So just so you know that. Okay, so I'm done on wild cards in the NL. Then fall into place whatever way you want, but I think it's going to be this way. The Padres, then the Giants, then the Rockies. The Padres, who signed a one Manny Machado last offseason, everyone believed their season to kind of arrive is 2021.
They spent a lot of money.
They did. And
They did.
it's not really their young players are good. The dude Will Myers is a stud. I forgot the other day. I realized they got Eric Hosmer as their starting first baseman. You got Machado. Like you have pieces.
You do.
I don't think they're ready yet to compete. I think they win about 80 games and are on the precipice of what people then can talk about in 2021, which is being a contender. Then you got the Giants and the Rockies. The Giants, you have no idea. The Rockies are just terrible. Only thing I'm curious about with the Rockies is, do they trade Nolan Arenado? Do they re-sign him? What do they do? That's going to be the most interesting story out of Colorado. So the Dodgers, the D-backs, the Padres, the Giants, and the Rockies. Dodgers win the division. Diamondbacks, your second NL wild card, 88 wins.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you're not gonna get much difference from me. I think Dodgers, Diamondbacks for sure. I mean, the Diamondbacks are right there. They're right there last year. I mean, they have been trending upward over the last 3 seasons.
And I think trading Greinke is addition by subtraction.
So I think that they are going to This is like a put up or shut up year for the Diamondbacks. If they don't get in this year, this might be the last we see of them for a little bit.
Sure.
Then I actually did have the Rockies in the 3rd spot. Because I think if they can just figure Nolan Arenado out, they're still good enough, right? But it's a toss-up. I'll give you the Padres 4th and the Giants last. I literally know nothing about the Giants. I still think Tim Lincecum is one of their pitchers. I know nothing about the Giants. I do know,
Timmy
but,
Jim.
but I do know.
Big time Timmy Slim.
But you know what? I am on the Padres. Machado. They spent heavily, they went all. It was what was it? 2 seasons ago now.
Yeah. No, last offseason.
Last offseason was the Machado, but the year I think they did more work to their minor league system.
Farm system? Yeah, they did.
So,
Which is why people are excited about their future.
So I'll go Dodgers, D-backs, Padres. I mean, I don't really know if it matters after the Dodgers. I don't
Doesn't,
know.
I don't think.
I don't know if it's not the D-backs, they will not be a wild card team.
And at the end of the day, if the Dodgers don't win the World Series this year, I believe it's considered a failed season.
And I think the NL East is really good, dude.
I know it is, but you love the NL East. Like you just
Who from the NL Central could contend for a wild card spot?
the Cardinals, the Brewers.
The Cardinals are trending downward too.
No, they're not. I don't think so.
Why not?
Because they made the playoffs last year, won the NL West, and went to the NLCS.
Okay.
NL Central, excuse
Did you
me.
pick them to win this year?
I did. I did pick the Cardinals.
Who's after the Cardinals? Who'd you pick last week?
The Brewers, I believe.
So do you think the Brewers are going to contend? Do you think the Brewers or the Diamondbacks will contend? Or will be in there?
I said it. I just said it. The Diamondbacks.
Okay.
I literally just made the prediction. I said 88 wins. They win the wild card, and my other wild card winner came from the NL East.
Okay. Yeah. I could see. I see.
It's also National Hearing Comprehension Day.
I see the Brew. I see. I think I see the Brew. I think I see the NL Central outpacing the NL West.
In terms of depth, maybe, but in terms of top team, no. The Dodgers are the best team in the NL. Hands down.
Yeah, no doubt. But
There's no team better than the Dodgers.
Okay. So
Right?
but you're saying that if the Padres don't do it,
The Padres aren't doing anything.
okay. So if the Padres could do it, maybe they just turn the page.
They could turn the page. They could be this year's version of the Oakland Athletics in the NL. They could be, where you don't expect it and they do it. But they have to beat the Diamondbacks handily in the season series, and they have to find a way to at least split the season series with the Dodgers, which I don't see happening.
At the end of the day, it's going to be a fun race.
It's going to be a lot of fun. The whole NL is going to be a lot of fun.
The NL's good. I mean, I'm excited to see how I feel about the AL once I look at it, because I do think, like going through each of the leagues the last couple weeks, you actually have seen some really good. Like, I don't know, is there someone that's just going to win like 30 games and get smoked in the NL?
Win 30 games?
Like just like I think the Marlins aren't going to be that bad.
No, there's no like really, really bad teams. Oh, that's a lie. I chose the Cardinals and I chose the Cincinnati Reds to win the wild
That's
card.
right, the Reds. Yeah, the Reds. I think I picked the Reds to win the division. That division.
That was my choice
Yeah.
for the NL, and I believe I had the Atlanta Braves and the Metropolitans
That's right.
as the two in the NL East. So that's the NL breakdown for you, okay? Facebook.com/The Rome Show 1 if you want to check out the other predictions from the NL East and the NL Central. We will start next week on the AL, so I would assume we could just go in the same order, AL East to start. All right, so if you were to go to the MLB standings right now, this is the first and only time you'll see the Baltimore Orioles at the top of the AL East.
Very exciting.
That's because Baltimore is the first letter in the alphabet for those teams.
No,
listed.
they had a couple good teams when Showalter was down there.
Yeah, they did about 6 or 7 years ago. Before we get out of here, okay, you know we love Romalytics on this show.
And when Cal Ripken was there.
So your Romalytics today comes from the sport of soccer. All right? I thought this was a super cool story,
Definitely cool.
and I feel like a lot of people might have heard of this story or had read this story, but I'm going to tell it to you now. So, In the MLS, the Nashville Football Club, Nashville FC, is
NFC, baby.
an expansion team playing at the stadium with which the Tennessee Titans play down in Tennessee. They had their inaugural game, first game in the history of Nashville FC over the weekend, and they broke the single game attendance record for a soccer match in the state of Tennessee.
Nice.
On their first night as an organization,
It's impressive.
they played the Atlanta United. They lost 2-1.
Atlanta
but
United has a good home following.
good home following. We'll get there in a minute. 59,069 people attended the Nashville FC versus Atlanta United contest to break the record.
Who came out on top?
Atlanta United, I just said it, 2-1. Reading Comprehension Day across America. Okay. That beat the previous record in Tennessee, which was 56,200 at a Manchester City versus Tottenham Hotspur
The Hotspurs.
game in 2017.
So it wasn't even an MLS game.
It was not even an MLS game. The record for the MLS, Atlanta United, to your point.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, they broke it last year.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, 80,000.
It was close. It's not 80, though. 72,243 people.
Yeah, they sold out the Atlanta the dome.
So we have 3 minutes before the Rome show ends here tonight. Okay. What does this mean for Major League Soccer?
I think it's great. I mean, I think Major League Soccer is on the rise. I mean, they've got a great model. It's very competitive, and they're just appealing to a fan base that is just unheard of. You really think about it. Think about all the people that have migrated from Europe, South America, that just grew up with soccer their whole life, and now they get to go live. The tickets are probably a little bit cheaper. It's a great experience. I love it.
And I think that the other huge thing has been these international stars ending their careers over here.
Yeah, oh, they've done a good job. I mean, the fact that David Beckham is he's an owner. I mean, he was the first to really break into it. He had Ibrahimovic play for LAFC. He went back last year. I think you're going to start seeing. I will not be surprised when Cristiano Ronaldo finishes his career in MLS.
Who's the guy? Joseph Martinez. I think he just tore his ACL, but he's the dude for Atlanta.
Yeah.
That was like a huge star that came over for them too.
Wayne Rooney plays DC United.
Yeah.
I think Thierry Henry even played for the New York Football Club for a little bit too. So like you have all people like that in the game. I think it's just great. And by the way, like soccer is still easily, next to basketball, the cheapest sport to play as a kid, the easiest to play. So,
and I remind people of this all the time. That is the world's favorite sport.
No doubt, most popular sport in the world. Look at any social media posting. Who has the most?
Likes
Who
and
has
stuff.
the most followers?
Yeah.
Dude, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. It's Lionel Messi.
Yep.
Like it's all of those dudes.
Besides the fact that they're good soccer players, they're also really, really good-looking dudes. We've been talking about getting to an MLS game as the Rome Show. We're going to do that this year, and we're going to let you know because we want you to come hang out with us. Guys, it has been a fun hour. It has been a great hour. I've had a blast.
It's been a really good show.
It's been a really good show. I'm going to do my best to get this show up on the podcast for you by Wednesday or Thursday. Tune in. The Rome Show. We appreciate the support on Facebook. Our producer, Ruben, Hamilton Radio. We will be back next Monday, March 9th.
2+7.
I won't be here. That will be a show with Rocky possibly or somebody filling in. We'll have to figure those details out. I'm in Florida coaching baseball. That's exciting. We'll talk off air. Andrew Romanella, Rocky Romanella, The Rome Show. Thank you for tuning in. We are out.
To become a better leader, whether that's in business, in sports, or in life, and you haven't found a book yet to help you get to that game-changing aha moment, well, we have the book for you. Tighten the Lug Nuts, the principles of balanced leadership. Tighten the Lug Nuts will help you get to that game-changing leadership moment. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and iBooks, or at 360managementservices.com. That's the number 360managementservices.com. Pick up your copy today and start changing your leadership styles.
Do this look like work to you? Nah, looking at the lights like it's all of this for me. Everyone tonight is here, all of this for me. this for me, for me. All of this for me, for me.